Hi, you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another December daily process video. In this video, I'll be working with stories 5 and 6. You're also going to be seeing bits and pieces of 3 and 4 because I filmed them all at the same time. But if you're interested in seeing those stories, you can go ahead and check out that video. I'll have it in the description below. So the first thing that I went ahead and did is I die cut that Peace, Love, and Joy. That dice cut comes from ellenhudson.com and it was from 2016, their holiday release, so that should still be available. I really loved having all of them together, the Peace, Love, Joy. I thought that it cut out beautifully, and so I kept the words together, but the words are intended to cut out separately, so you could do that if you wanted to. So what I did is I cut it out twice and then I stacked them up a lot like I did with that deer die from day 3 and 4. And I just wanted to say one of the reasons why I used the Tombow Mono adhesive glue is because it's a liquid glue, and so it allows you to stack up the dies together and move them around. It gives you a little bit of play before it actually, keeps everything stuck together. So that's why I use that opposed to using the scrapbook adhesive. So what you saw me do is I had this clear cardstock and I actually bought it a long time ago. And I was planning on using that, but when I put it with the love, I'm looking for a see-through element. It was just too plain. And so I decided to grab that same acetate that I have, or that same transfer paper with the stars on it. That's from Bella Boulevard. And so I just put the love on there, and I actually really love the way that looks. They're both very subtle, but I think it'll look really great with whatever is in the background. Then I'm working on the journaling here, and I've decided to grab over one of those party envelopes. I showed you that I was going to be using those in my video that I talked about my supplies, and I just got that from any party store, and they have all different colors, but I actually had these on hand from something else. But I love when other supplies can work for some of your projects. So I've decided I'm going to put the number 5 on top of here, and then I'm putting the journaling inside the pocket. So I just grabbed over my stash and I'm looking for the number 5. And then what I decide is I'm not really loving the way the 5 looks on there. And then I remembered that I had bought way back when they were selling these that big 5 that was from Studio Calico, and it was gold, and so I decided to go ahead and use that. So the next thing that I'm doing is I left such a big spot above that journaling because I really wanted to add something there, and I'm not sure what I want to do. I actually really loved that star there, but I chose not to keep it, and the reason why was because I'm hoping to use the star in another way, and I actually don't know how I want to use the star, but I figured I really love that big star, and so I didn't want to necessarily use it there, so I'm holding off for maybe something else. So what I decided to do is I decided to test it out. I'm using some Studio Calico paint. This is called Going Green, and I really love this it's very beautiful, subtle color. I have the ink, and I love the ink as well. And I'm just using this, though the star screen came from Ali Edwards kit last year, and I actually used it last year, so I was hesitant to use it again, but I went ahead and did it anyway, and I'm just going to see what it looks like. But I'm jumping on to day 6, and the reason why is because I wanted that the paint to dry, and so I will definitely go back to that when I'm done with this side of the spread. So my biggest issue with this side of the spread, which you'd think I literally could do this in 5 minutes, print out the journaling, stick it on, and be good. But I really struggled with how I was going to add the number 6. I just could not figure it out. And I grabbed over those letter stickers. I love these letter stickers, you guys. These came from Ali Edwards, and I'm literally in love. I want to buy like 20 packs just so I can have them on hand because they only have one of each letter. But I decided, you know what, I will put the number 6 on there, or I'll write it out, SIX. And when I got to the point where I was putting the letters on, I decided that I wanted to do yum instead. So instead of writing out 6, I do yum. And I don't know if that was necessarily a good thing or not, just because then I still had my issue, my problem of trying to figure out where I was going to put the 6. And I don't know why it became such a problem. I think at this point, it was towards the end of the day, my kids were starting to come home from school, and I felt like I was kind of in a rush. And when I get into that mode where I'm feeling like I'm in a rush, like my mind's not working 100%. So I think that is kind of what was going on at the time that I was working on this particular day, or excuse me, story, because like I said, this really shouldn't have taken very long at all. But I'm not sure if I mentioned it. Definitely my journaling is on, let's see, that's some vellum. And I was really sad to find out that my printer, the Artisan printer, doesn't have like a vellum setting. The Canon does, but not the Epson Artisan. So I was kind of bummed about that. So I'm going to have to I might end up reprinting it because it seemed just a little fuzzy to me. So the number that I decided to go with came from a Studio Calico kit, and I pulled it out when I was trying to figure out something for day 3 and 4, and it was just sitting on my desk, and so I grabbed him, and I thought that it worked okay. It's honestly not my favorite, but it doesn't bother me. It's one of those things where it's like I felt like at this point I just had to move on. Like I said, kids were coming home from school and I just had to be done with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes I feel like this is when the perfectionist comes in play. Is when I just keep looking at it and keep looking at it and saying it's not right, something's not right. But I just definitely just have to let it go, because I will not think about this in years to come. I'll just be grateful that I have the story down. So now is when I'm trying to decide what I want to do for that white portion. And looking at it now, you guys, maybe I should film this and look at it and then make my decision. I actually do like those green stars. I think it adds. Before I was thinking maybe it was just too much stars with the star on the left, but I actually don't mind it at all. So what I think I'm going to do, I don't end up using it. I think I'll end up putting that, maybe I'll make a 3x4 card out of it, and I'll use it out of that. So I wanted that that journaling card to look more like a tag. And so I went ahead and I grabbed a tag that I had, and I just cut the corners off. And you can see that I'm still kind of debating, but I went ahead and decided just to take that same gold and white trim that I had, that's from May Arts, and that baker's twine, and just put that on to the tag so that it's looking like a tag coming up. I really wanted also to have something that you could grab on, which is why I think I kept going back to that wood veneer snowflake, because I was hoping that, you could grab it with your hands and lift it up. But I thought maybe the string would also fulfill that. But then I was left with a problem where I had that big white space that I had to figure out. I definitely wanted to put something there. And you'll see I pull over this happy, and I actually really loved the happy because it was black and had the white writing, and I loved it because the 4 on the other side was black, and I just thought it went really well together. But for whatever reason, I didn't feel like it fit the journaling. The happy didn't, so I was bummed. And then I ended up pulling over these stickers that came from the Ali Edwards kit, and I put it there, and I actually am very satisfied with how that looks. It's very simple, but it's definitely very me. So I'm revisiting story number 3, and I know that I want to use that Pam Garrison Making Memory chipboard, but I actually can't find it, and that's what I'm doing in the background. So once I locate it, once my desk is all cleaned up, later that night, I end up putting it on there, but you're not going to see that in the video. All right, you guys, here is my days 6 and 7 stories, and also a little bit of 3 and 4. I hope you enjoyed watching this process. If you want to see more of my December daily process videos, please subscribe so you can get updates to when I put those online. And you guys, I will catch you in the next video. Happy holidays. Bye.